Welcome back, everybody. My first guest tonight is a New York Times best-selling author and an actor you know from Bombshell and The Crown and just everything else. Please welcome John Lithgow. John, how are you riding out your quarantine now? What's a Lithgow quarantine like?
You know, I'm a lucky man. I've had a project in quarantine.
Oh, please don't tell me you're one of those productive people.
I've been actually productive. Every writer friend I have is having writer's block, but I'm no writer, but I'm writing my head off. Uh,
What's the project?
I've completed a follow-up to my book Dumpty from last year.
I remember it well.
My poetry book, which you sort of introduced to the whole country about a year and a half ago. That came out in October and was a big hit. And my publisher said, well, we have to have another one prior to the election in the fall. And I recklessly said, yes, I never would have been able to meet my deadlines if we hadn't had a global pandemic. But I'm done.
Well, what's it called?
It's called Trumpty Dumpty Wanted a Crown. Verses for a despotic age. You know, last year it was Dumpty versus for the age of Trump.
Sure. Well, is there well, where are you in the process right now? Are you completed? Are you well underway?
I completed the poems, but I'm illustrating it too. So right now, my month of May is all about getting the illustrations done.
Oh, I forgot that you do the illustrations too. You're a Renaissance man.
Well, hardly.
You're a jack of three trades.
Now, as an illustrator, I'm a very good actor. But I did the cover art, and all of the poems are accompanied by line drawings.
Would you be willing to read us one of the poems right now? Can you give us a little taste?
Sure. I will read you the title poem. It will be the first poem in the book, and it's called Trumpty Dumpty Wanted a Crown. I'll read it briskly, so as not to take up too much of your time.
Take all the time you want, John. It's quarantine time. Everyone's on a slight sense of hiatus at all moments.
Yeah, all of us aspire to wasting as much time as we possibly can. Well, here's a good waste of time. Trumpty Dumpty wanted a crown to make certain he never would have to step down. He wanted a robe made of ermine and velvet, the Constitution. He wanted to shelve it. Awash, his ambition had grown. He wanted an orb, a scepter, a throne, 6 royal palaces, 6 royal carriages, a church dispensation for 6 royal marriages, courtiers installed on his own Supreme Court, and royal beheadings, if only for sport. He craved the occasional royal procession and, gasp, the eventual royal succession. Trumpty Dumpty gets his way, unless the public has something to say. If we let him have all of his favorite things, we'll have to endure the divine right of kings. That's more or less the tone of the book.
Bravo. You know, I was curious whether, Rudy Giuliani shows up at all in the book, because the president's free lawyer, Rudy, he comes on the show all the time, usually on the same night that you're there. I don't know if you guys ever run into each other backstage.
I simply can't explain the coincidence, Stephen.
Okay, all right.
But as a matter of fact, I did write a very quick Rudy poem. Let's see if I can, and I even have an illustration for it. It refers to him as a weather vane. So here's the illustration. It's Rudy pointing in the wrong direction on a weather vane. And he, in fact, does look uncannily like me.
It really does. Wow.
And the poem goes like this. It's called Rabid Rudy. What goes on with Rabid Rudy, monster of ineptitude? Dumpty's spinning weather vane botched his mission in Ukraine. Mixing bribes and dirty tricks, he soiled our geopolitics. Filled with rage and babbling bluster, America's mayor has lost his luster. Some of them are long and some of them are short.
I love it. I want to read you a quote from noted wise man John Lithgow. He gave this advice to actors: have something in your life that is all yours, some creative thing that doesn't depend on somebody else hiring you. What did you mean by that, and did you always follow your own advice?
Well, it's a hard profession because it's a profession that absolutely depends on you being hired. And so a lot of it is waiting around for to be somebody else's brainstorm. And that's
Yes.
very depressing. And I just sort of present that to young actors who are so eager to get success and get to work. Uh, Sometimes it's a real hardship. So I always say, find something that is all yours, some creative outlet, paint or tap dance or write, or if there's a role you really, really want to play, figure out some way to produce it. Give yourself a great goal, a great project. Chances are it will never happen. The reason it doesn't happen is someone will hire you to act, which is what you've been hoping for all along. I think it all started by the fact that I grew up wanting to be an artist. I was not really interested in being an actor.
Oh, really?
I grew up in a theater family and wasn't all that interested in it. So I just have always kept creative in other ways. And I guess that's why I have such an eccentric career. I've been on your shows promoting children's books and
Yeah, sure.
albums, and now a poetry book. It's actually born out of pure fear that nobody will ever want me as an actor.
Well, a lot of my best ideas have just born straight out of panic. So I know the feeling
Yes.
very well. You know
But
what Ernie Kovacs said about television? Ernie Kovacs said that every good idea he ever had was because it was 3:15 and he had a 3:30 production meeting.
Exactly. And you yourself, Stephen, you're a polymath. You're interested in so many more things than your show.
I do. Try to keep my mind busy with a lot of different things. Well, the nice thing about doing one of these shows is that they require you to know how to do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
It's not like a classic variety show, but basically Johnny Carson said these shows will ask of you everything you know how to do. At some point, you will do it on camera because the beast is just so hungry. You have to feed it every night. Speaking of feeding things. Have you, I understand that you and your wife have been doing some baking.
Well, yes, she is a fabulous baker, and I have over the years, like Tom Sawyer and his white picket fence, she's taught me to do it and then left the kitchen. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of baking. We've been sheltering in place for 6 or 7 weeks now. And we did a lot of baking at first, but we also gained a lot of weight. So we've become a little bit, we backed away, just special occasions.
Okay, well, that's nice. Well, John, it was lovely to see you. Thanks so much for coming on.
I feel like I've invited you into my home. It's a brave new world, this in place talk show activity.
Well, I hope when all this is over, I can actually come over sometime.
Yeah, that would be a lovely thing, Stephen.
All right.
To welcome you and Evie at that.
Well, thanks so much again. His new book, Trumpty Dumpty Wanted a Crown, comes out in October. So there's your deadline, John. John Lithgow, everybody. We'll be right back with cookbook author Allison Roman. Stick around.